Hi everyone, we're here to look forward to the semi-final between Iga Swiatek and Jelena Ostapenko. I think I'm smiling because not just because of the head-to-head guys, but also because you two were talking about the possibility of these two meeting in the semi-finals in Doha. I liked what Damien had to say about how many times we've seen Jelena waiting potentially in Iga's draw only for one or both of them to go out, in particular Jelena anyway, more from than not. And so the match never actually comes to fruition. But Jelena Ostapenko beat Ons Jabeur in straight sets early today. And Iga Swiatek did likewise against Elena Rybakina to set up this semi-final. Vanch, you can tell us anything about the two matches that occurred today, or if you want to go straight for Jelena and Iga, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I mean, the highly anticipated match was Iga and Elena, and that was, that was the most one-sided win that Iga's had in the rivalry, and it was, it wasn't without its moments of jeopardy. Certainly in the second set, Iga was down 2-4, deuced. He was also down facing 2 break points at 4-all, and those were slight moments where you thought Rybakina could change the tide because on this slower surface, Iga was able to get a lot more returns back into play. Like the first serve wasn't as damaging. She was using her defensive abilities a bit more. I did find she was in general just more comfortable with the Rybakina pace, not really having a ton of issues like she was. I think United Cup gave her a lot of confidence. But also, I thought Rybakina, like a little bit of a sluggish start, didn't get off, didn't play a great game to get broken. And then that kind of set the tone, and you guys such a good front runner. So that was the first set. But then the second set was, that was impressive from Iga to win that 7-5, and potentially it looked like it was going to go 3. And Iga was able to get that, and she evens the head-to-head now, having won 3 of the last 4. So that should give her a lot of confidence. And then Ostapenko is just like, you don't know what you're getting with her. I mean, she's just, box of chocolates. But this tournament seems like she's really peaking. And then now, finally, we get this match.
I like that. I thought you were going to say fireworks, but yeah, chocolates, I guess, works. You don't know what you're going to get.
But yeah, like, I mean, the last time they were like one match away was Wimbledon. And that time, Iga actually lost to Putintseva. But it's like, yeah, I don't know how that match is going to pan out, but I'm kind of expecting that there'll just be one set where Ostapenko is just red hot and just like firing winners from all over the place. And then it's up to Iga to see, let's see the different improvements that she's made. Like now is where it really comes in handy. Like, the spot serving is going to be important because Ostapenko is one of the best second serve returners ever. She's just going to crush second serve returns and just, play really, really, really big, really fast, and just the ultimate like flat hitter. And it's just going to be, it's gonna be really interesting to see if you guys can absorb all that pace and just keep getting 3, 4, 5 extra shots back into play, and then we'll see if Ostapenko can handle that pressure.
We will get into the head-to-head. I think it's just going to dominate pretty much any preview for this match. But before we do that, I mean, run from Jelena, even by her standards of blowing hot and cold, is so out of nowhere, Damien. I mean, my feeling about Jelena is since basically watching her in WATCHALONG, which would have been the Billie Jean King Cup in April of last year. Okay, she had that run at Wimbledon, I think, so maybe I'm getting a bit carried away, but she just didn't seem to be on it at all in WATCHALONG against players significantly lower down the world rankings than her. Okay, she has that run at Wimbledon, but then her since Wimbledon, I think, has been wretched, right?
Yeah, she had one win in 2024 after Wimbledon, and then this year, before this week, she also had one win. Some of this was just tough draws. I mean, the last 3, I think, before Doha was Keys, Bencic, and Jabeur. So, first matches and events, she runs into players like this. But at the same time, it was like, 8 is a stretch, but like 6, 7 months of doing absolutely nothing. 6 months or so of winning 2 matches. So, I mean, she really needed something like this. Obviously, she can do it anytime, anywhere. But to get through 4 matches without dropping a set, only one was really tight against Samsonova, but then sort of like these very, telling score lines of 6-2 and 6-2 against Paolini and Jabeur, who just beat her in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, it's just a great indicator. I think that Jelena will be ready for this one. Obviously, the head-to-head, some of these are very late in the day. It's very like back in the day. You're not gonna really look at that grass encounter from 2019. Maybe you can look at the Dubai one from 2022 because that's literally the last match that Iga lost before the 37-match win streak. So that already kind of tells you something. But then Ostapenko also confirmed it. 2023 US Open, she basically kind of shows, okay, yeah, this is not just a matchup that was like stuck in the past. I don't know, Maria Sakkari was 3-0 up on Iga Świątek in the head-to-head, right? And now it's already 4-3 for Iga, and basically it's clear that the issues, whatever they were in 2021, that's gone. Like, that's literally, if they play 10 more times, I think Iga is going to win 9 at least. That's not the case with Ostapenko. And as Vansh said, I mean, so much of like the conversation and the talking points about Świątek over the year, it goes to like things, how she can extend the points in faster conditions, also her second serve, sometimes even her first serve. And like Ostapenko is the perfect player to abuse these things. So in a way, this is the ultimate test. Of course, Jelena Ostapenko is far from the best player in the world, but for Świątek, she kind of is the ultimate test because of the head-to-head, because of the playstyle. And I know that the Doha court, obviously, it's fantastic for Świątek. It's slow, it's bouncy. But at the same time, you don't really want to give Ostapenko that much time to just like load up on her strokes, right? I mean, the woman won Roland Garros.
Doha, Indian Wells, Roland Garros, Vanch. I feel that those are the 3 best tournaments, courts, conditions for Iga Świątek on tour. You might throw in Rome as well. But those are the 3, right? Where it's going to be like, if she could pick 3 courts to play Ostapenko on, I think it would be those 3, unless you feel as though maybe some of those, particularly maybe Doha, might help Ostapenko for some of the reasons that Damien just highlighted.
Yeah, I think pretty much those 3 or 4 courts, including Rome, is like where Iga would want to play this matchup.
I actually think, and this is to both of you, but we'll start with Vanch. I think I need still to, it doesn't sound like Damien needs to be convinced, but I still need to be a little bit convinced maybe that this is like her absolute kryptonite. I think, you know, tomorrow's match, I guess, will, you know, put me back in my box if Jelena wins in any manner. I almost feel a bit the same about, in fact, I feel even more strongly about Fritz and Zverev, but that's for another day. But sometimes I still need a bit of convincing, and there's only 2 matches that are really super relevant on the screen that I'm sharing right now, and it's obviously the most 2 recent. And yeah, maybe Damien's right. The US Open did confirm it. I don't know where you stand on this head-to-head debate, Vanch.
Yeah, in some ways we just don't have enough data and matches, because like more consistently Rybakina is going to be more of a threat to Iga than Jelena is, because they're just going to keep meeting more often because she's a top player. Whereas, and same thing with Sabalenka and the others. Whereas Ostapenko, it's like, I don't know how often they'll play, just because of, just the erraticness of Ostapenko and just, which weeks she's going to play her best tennis. But yeah, the US Open one, that third set was almost a beatdown. It was almost 6-love. Like, she just managed to get 1 game at the very end at 5-0. And then since then, kind of like since that loss, we kind of saw a newer version of Iga where she was, a lot more, at least up until Roland Garros. It kind of was a semi-turning point for her. Maybe afterwards she also lost to Kurumitova in Tokyo, but really from then until Roland Garros of the following year. And it's just like, I don't know if it's like the biggest kryptonite just because they're not playing each other that often. But in terms of like a player outside the top 10 who you don't want to see Iga's name next to in the draw, like this is the one. Like, of all the other possible players that you can name who just have random peaks on a given day, like this one is the most threatening. And she's not gonna fear Iga at all. Like, you probably can expect Ostapenko to bring it tomorrow. Like, I'd be kind of surprised if at least for like a set. Well, okay, I'll say it like this. I think the least likely outcome is probably Ostapenko in 2.
Yeah.
But all the other outcomes, do you agree? Like, I think all the other outcomes are in play.
I think so, but Damien, do you either respond to what Vanch said or even what I said that preceded Vanch's answer?
I think all outcomes are possible. I don't really see why this one is like, that much.
I get where Vanch is coming from, but yeah.
I think I'd be a little surprised if Ostapenko just like redlined and
really? I mean, it's Ostapenko.
I don't know.
Yeah, but redline for
you would be surprised if she redlines for 2 sets. I don't know. I mean, yeah,
I don't know. That's maybe Iga against Iga like 2 years ago in 2023 that I could have seen that, but I think right now, Iga has more tools than than that, I think.
I don't know. Linda Noskova already kind of showed that you can put Iga on the back foot on this court. Kind of surprised that
Yeah.
Rybakina today was like such a big contrast. Ostapenko, we're talking about like ultimate kryptonite. I don't really know what that means. Like in terms of the head-to-head, you mentioned some debate. I think the debate isn't really there. Like it's pretty obvious that Ostapenko playstyle-wise is like right up there with Garcia, and that's kind of maybe it. Or like a peaking Alexandrova. Rybakina, Sabalenka, they're actually slightly like more manageable. Of course, they are better players. They are going to be coming up against Iga way more often. And who knows? I mean, maybe Ostapenko is going to beat Swiatek tomorrow and then they never play again. She just goes to retire with that 5-0 head-to-head record. That would be one of the kind of like main things we would then remember her for. Actually, no, there's so many things to remember Ostapenko for. But yeah, I think just like playstyle-wise, it's obvious that like Iga will be uncomfortable tomorrow. Whether that will actually lead to her winning or losing, she's just going to scramble. She's going to have to extend all these points. And who knows? She's maybe is getting a little bit better, but against like against someone like Ostapenko, there's still a lot of weight that like is basically on Jelena's shoulders and how she plays. And sometimes you just can't do much against her if she's playing well. So it's wild. I mean, literally any outcome to me is possible from a 6-1, 6-1 one way and a 6-1, 6-1 the other way, to be honest. It's just Ostapenko, really. I mean,
I know, but I'm still
sure
with
if the
Vanch. I'm
opponent
still with
matters.
Vanch. If you said to me it's going to be 2-2, 2-1, one way or another, if it's going to, because I've also still got, I know a completely different player, and maybe she frustrated Jelena a lot more, but Jelena can just turn up for a match and be 5-love down as well, like she was against Coco
Yeah.
Gauff in the match that followed that Iga Swiatek match. And I know Coco and Iga complete opposite types of players, and to some extent that may
Not
have
against Ostapenko, though, right?
no,
I mean,
exactly.
against Ostapenko, they're the same type of player, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't
That even
matter.
that even kind of shows you the U.S. Open. Both of them, I mean, are so good athletically, so good defensively. They don't really get to do all that much else against Jelena. I mean, Coco has a stronger first serve, a lot, but still, you would assume that like Ostapenko is going to crush her second serve the way she did against Iga, and she just comes out and she does nothing of that. And these matches, as you said, they like directly followed each other. They were back-to-back performances against players who struggle to absorb pace, at least at the time, flat pace at their forehand corner, and yet they are completely different. And I guess that's kind of my point. Like, I don't really care who Ostapenko plays. Any outcome is possible.
Vanch, you ever got anything else to add to that? What we've just said?
Yeah, I still think like the least likely is still
Me too. Me too.
Ostapenko winning in straights. Like, not like 7-6, 7-6, but like 1-1.
That's just so like,
it's
you guys saying the favorite.
okay.
Yeah, because she's the favorite. Like, it's like, I don't know. I think it's very like close.
But at the same time, I do think like her difference between her floor and ceiling is like pretty much bigger than anybody. Like it's insane.
This is Damien, I guess, where Wim Fissette is going to be maybe earning his corner, or at least we'll get a few brownie points on his CV. Now, because I remember going into this part of the season, and I was sort of saying to you, I think a couple of weeks ago, that when we were looking at Iga's 2025, actually, for Wim Fissette, it's going to be pretty tough to improve upon where she was at this time last year. But then I wasn't contending with the possibility of a semi-final against Ostapenko. Whereas now there's this Ostapenko match, and if she wins this, Iga, then yeah, I think it's a little looking good on the CV at least of Wim Fissette.
I don't know. I mean, I think Ostapenko is just so unique that like you don't really cater towards the matchup against her, right? You're more looking against, I don't know, just like a general vibe of playing players like this, and obviously Rybakinas, Sabalenkas, and the likes. So yeah, but I would like to see how this match goes. Like if we really see Iga kind of like extending points and maybe serving great the way that she was never able to do it against Ostapenko, sure. But if it's just like a match where, yeah, Ostapenko comes out and she's, hitting 100 unforced errors, Iga doesn't get to do all that much, but then again, she doesn't need to, then I don't really see how it would fall into like Fissette's, cons, or whatever, or yeah, the strengths that he brought on. But probably, yeah, this is also another thing that, like what Vansh mentioned and you mentioned as well, that like Ostapenko will not be getting to the deep stages of events that much. So like it's probably not that not worth focusing on the matchup with her too much. But it would be great for Iga, I'm sure, like confidence-wise, to finally get a win over her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they were like going in the off season like, oh, you guys like, oh, I gotta figure out Ostapenko. Like let's study the tape. Let's go back to 2022. I don't think so.
Vanch, are we saying, well, this is to both of you again, and I think we are saying that their peaks on a court that isn't clay anyway, that if they both playing at their absolute best, Ostapenko wins, right? It's just that or what is that what Damien's pulling a face? But go on, Vanch.
I don't know. It's just like with Ostapenko, like if she's playing her best, like again, there's like not like you just don't have much say because like the chances are Iga's probably not going to be at her best if Ostapenko's at her best. Like it's just that kind of they're just that kind of players where it's just like Ostapenko being so good is just gonna it's not gonna allow Iga. I'll be surprised if they're both playing their very best at the same time and we get a really really high quality match that ends up being match of the year. Like I just don't think this is the kind of matchup where that would happen.
Okay. Damien?
This is an interesting point. Yeah, I guess it could happen if they just like keep going back and forth because of the I don't know, the points are just like it's so topsy-turvy in the third set maybe. But yeah, it's an interesting point. I mean, I don't know. I just had a visceral reaction to thinking about the fact that like Ostapenko might be the best player in the world in terms of
I mean, I guess I was sort of.
I don't know. I mean, if Iga Swiatek from like 2021, well, 2021, no, but like 2022, 23 or something like that, is in the 2017 Roland Garros final, does she have a stronger chance to win it than Simona Halep? I think so, like 100%.
That's why I said not on clay.
Does that tell me? I don't know. I mean, not on clay, but she has a slam on clay. Like I think for Ostapenko, conditions is something that barely matters really.
Okay.
I mean, she has runs everywhere. Yeah, maybe on like a faster hard court, I would agree. On grass, I would agree.
Yeah,
Here,
I don't know. If this is on grass,
tough.
And like I say, I don't take a huge amount of stock in. But if this is a Wimbledon quarterfinal, or maybe just actually better not Wimbledon, just a grass court match, Bad Homburg or whatever, I would be backing Jelena to win. Just kind of normally, if they both play normally. Which, but as it's Doha, I am backing Iga. I don't know about you, Vanch.
Yeah, I tend to kind of back Iga, in these conditions, like no matter who she plays, like in Doha, Rome, Indian Wells. So I'd probably still stick with that. But at the same time, I do think we could get like this one purple patch of like just 5-6 games in a row where, a bit like how Madison Keys was able to do in the second set of the Australian Open semi, like just red line. Like I could totally see something like that. Like maybe Iga wins the first 6-4 or 7-5, and then Ostapenko just does like a 6-1. And then we have like a third set that's just
and that match is a contender for match of the year.
If you think about it, that's kind of what happened in their Dubai match. It was 4-6, 6-1, 7-6, I think. And it was just it was
the
like
match
that.
might really be like won and lost on how Ostapenko returned on serve of Swiatek, because it's a good kick. Like it's possible that she's just gonna miss 70% of her returns of that, but at the same time, it's just possible she's gonna like eat it up. I don't know. Rybakina had some decent moments attacking it today. Noskova was on it most of it, but then most of the match. But then again, she doesn't even break in the first set. Like that's kind of, I think, yeah. If Ostapenko is just like demolishing returns, she might easily win this match. But yeah.
But also her second serve, Elena's second serve is nothing like Rybakina's. It's a lot more attackable in terms of, she's mostly going to be like middle of the box. You can kind of expect where it's going. So then Iga will have to be really aggressive on second serve return herself.
There's so many variables for them both to be playing well at the same time that it's quite difficult for it to happen. But the way that would happen would be if Iga serves well, but Ostapenko still returns unbelievably, and yet Iga's able to defend so well that she has the best defending life of her. And Jelena doesn't get frustrated by that defense, and Iga does finally get up in the rally and ultimately win the point, and therefore probably the match. Then it becomes match of the year. They both peak at the same time, and we have to just basically reflect on this video and say what we're talking about. But there's just too many variables.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is the watch along now for Iga Swiatek versus Jelena Ostapenko. If you've been tuning in for the past sort of 5-10 minutes, you've just had John Vanch and Damien's thoughts on how the match could go. That was something that was recorded last night, and now we're going to see how the match does go. So you're going from the past to the present. And then there'll be a future, which will be looking back on this match and seeing how well it could or couldn't go. I've got Carlson with me today. How are you doing, Carlson?
I'm well. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing pretty okay. I've covered off the back of a bad cold, flu-y thingy, whatever its name will be. So I'm glad that's all gone, or at least pretty much all gone. So that's my sort of happy state from that bit there.
Sorry, I didn't catch the end of that there. I think.
No, I just kind of waffled as I usually do about a bit there. So, how do you think this is going to go?
I think that this probably leans Iga Swiatek a little bit. I'm not saying that this is necessarily like one of her 6-1, 6-1 classic performances that she sometimes puts on. Ostapenko obviously has a 4-0 head-to-head lead against her, it's been a problematic matchup in the past. I'm going to be interested to see how Iga's serve holds up today. I think that's probably the thing that has improved the most in her game in the time since they have last played. How do you think this is going to go?
I like to go a little bit funky, and I'm going to go polar opposite almost that. I'm going to go for, I think, the head-to-head and how bad this matchup has been for Iga in the past. I think Ostapenko's going to do it. She's on this sort of red-hot run that we've had this week, beating the likes of Ons Jabeur, has taken out other really high-level players in quite quick succession. Jasmine Paolini, that being another one. I know Jasmine's just won the doubles match earlier in the day, and I can already see that Ostapenko on the Swiatek serve is already 15-30 up, so he's already starting to have a bit of an impact on this match already. But yeah, I just think of how bad this matchup's going to be. I do favour Ostapenko to win this. I don't know if anyone in the chat's going to sort of say otherwise or think, or going to go more with you on that one, Carlson. I'm thinking that it's going to be for Swiatek. But of course, this is Iga's favourite ever, or we could probably, I've been probably being a little bit more overzealous with that statement, but favourite ever sort of hard-court tournament. Maybe it being Qatar, given the fact she's the 2022, 2023, and 2024 champion. She never really loses in Doha, which is always a fun stat to have.
15 straight matches, I believe, which is, I mean, you win 15 straight matches anywhere. I imagine you feel pretty good about your odds, regardless of who's on the other side of the net. So, this will be interesting, though. Ostapenko with a couple of break points here and converts it here in the first game. So already up a break early on, which is interesting.
It is interesting. It's that was quite a straightforward break as well. Like there was no real pressure really on that one there. Just easy ball swatted away.
Yeah, it's, I mean, maybe a little difficult to read much into just one game played so far, but first serve will have to be a little bit better than that from Iga as far as placement and the combination of placement and accuracy. Obviously, she hit 4 out of 5 in that game, but placement is going to matter a lot more, and trying to utilize that kick serve as well, I think, will be a big part of this match.
Yeah, I think I'm slightly ahead of you because I got Ostapenko out 15 love. What I got for you?
Point just started, so it's 15 love now.
Cool. What I'll do is I'll just pause mine for just a little bit. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go again, just to try and make sure we're on the similar sort of wavelength, because I know how annoying it is, and you've probably been on streams where somebody else is ahead of you and they already know what's happened, and it kind of ruins the fun almost for you.
Oh, that happens sometimes. It's technology. What can you do about this? But
yeah, it's the sort of age of it's the bizarre age of internet. It almost feels like, where certain streams are going to be faster than others, and some people may still try and be on the traditional sort of satellite type TVs, which actually tend to be the most up to date comparative to the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm watching this on streaming technically, so it's just the tennis channel. What do they call it now? Whatever tennis channel is calling their streaming.
TC Plus, isn't that what you've got? Is that what it's called?
It was called that, and then they switched it when they re-rolled it out as one thing. It used to be like restriction. I'm sure you know this, but whatever was on Tennis Channel, you couldn't actually get on TC Live because of broadcasting rights and television agreements. But now they have it as a straight-to-consumer product. So,
oh, yeah. Because I knew Tennis Channel was almost like through normal satellite subscriptions, weren't they, or cable bundles or whatever it usually.
What we all thought would happen 15 years ago is starting to happen.
No, I've got in the UK, I've got Sky Sports who have the WTA rights, so I'm currently watching it on my iPad through Sky Sports on the app, which is quite handy. And currently, I've got mine as screen now as Ostapenko holding quite comfortably to make it 2 love.
It's a red hot start, which she can definitely go on these patches once in a while where she just can't lose a point. So it's it's going to be on Iga, I think, to break this head-to-head up a little bit. I think just adding a little bit more variety than she has in the past, just to give a bit of unpredictability, take away a little bit of rhythm from Ostapenko.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a beautiful return ball from Ostapenko there. Swiatek goes straight down the line, and Ostapenko just swats it back up the line and goes, right, that's mine. And actually was able to take a lot of the pace off that ball as well. So the ball dropped so low that it didn't even get a chance to get to the feet of Swiatek.
Yeah, that's a beautiful return.
I mean, just also the way in which at the moment Ostapenko just looks so cool with the way that she's hitting these balls. You wouldn't imagine that she's one of the most temperamental ball strikers on the tour.
Second serve here from Iga.
Backhand up the lot. Beautiful backhand. Ostapenko is on the march. It's almost as if Iga Swiatek is stuck in the mud. Her feet cannot move. Cannot get to whatever Ostapenko is putting back.
No, it's like everything from her is so good right now. Like every return has been Perfect.
Just looks so locked in. Okay, Iga here though does need to start getting a little bit more into it, and then hits a serve straight into the net. Second serve. Well, I think that we'll see how this point goes. Bit of wind as you'd usually expect in Qatar. Backhand to Iga's feet, backhand to Iga, backhand to Ostapenko into the net. At least a little bit of a rally that Swiatek was able to try and enter there to at least try and eke the mistake out of the Ostapenko racket.
I do think, against most players, it certainly becomes a benefit to Swiatek once the rally gets a little bit longer, just because of how consistent she is from the baseline. So that type of a point might be able for her to start turning it around. And again, this, forcing Ostapenko to hit 3 or 4 shots back instead of just 1 or 2.
No, I agree. It's a tactic that she's going to have to implement as best as possible. Because Ostapenko, the longer you take her into the rally, the higher percentage chance of her making a mistake, or at least trying to go for it unnecessarily, which she kind of did on the previous point there. Ostapenko went for a forehand winner up the line and just collided with the middle of the net.
Which you can't fault Ostapenko for going for that. Like, that's her type of shot. That's what she wants to do. She's going to be aggressive. And yeah, it's just not going to work all the time.
There we go. And Swiatek is now onto the board.
Yeah, struggled a little bit with that return on the second serve. Had a bit of kick on it. Forced her to reach out a little bit further than she probably would have liked. But 2-1 now.
Yeah, so not a bad start there for not a bad start at the moment for Ostapenko, but Swiatek getting it all done there. And yeah, I think we're still very much at the early stages of the match. I think if there was that double break, then we could potentially have said that that set could have been over and done with.
Close to it. Yeah. Iga, obviously someone who is more than capable, but whenever you go up a double break, with the way that Ostapenko has been playing so far, even in that return game, that wasn't like the most terrible tennis. Like, just a couple of rallies got longer than she would have liked, and she went for a couple of aggressive shots that just didn't work out. But
it has been remarkable, hasn't it? Just thinking about what Ostapenko has done this week in terms of the run that she's had, because I think we were coming off the back of her on some sort of really long, really quite worrying losing streak. And then all of a sudden, it just shows with her game that if it just is just the right things happen in the right week, anything can happen with her. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. What was it? She had 2 or 3 wins since Wimbledon coming into this week. Now here she is in the semifinals. It's like, yeah, you can just get red hot sometimes. And this is the nature of the sport, is that you're going to lose almost every week, but you would hope to have a few wins sparsed in there at some point. And it just hasn't happened for her. And then she comes into this week and it's blazing hot.
It's also a time of the year that she tends to do quite well in as well, Ostapenko. I believe she's a Dubai winner when it was a 500 event one year, and tends to go quite deep in Qatar as well. It tends to be surfaces and conditions that suit her game very strongly. But like we said, also for Swiatek, when it comes to certainly this tournament in Doha, because the courts are seen as slower, at least it's going to be one of the more slower outdoor hard courts on the tour. Usually gives Iga a bit more time and the ability to dictate rallies and points a lot more. Oh, and a classic Ostapenko shot just takes place there. as she fires the forehand more to the backboard than necessarily the baseline.
A little too much power on that shot. Just can't get it down. To your point, though, these conditions historically do suit Iga a lot more. And I mean, she's the 3-time defending champion here. So it just gives her the pace of these courts, give her especially a lot of time on her forehand. She has sometimes a much larger swing back on her forehand, as we're seeing on that point right there. That
wow, I mean,
forehand.
Rick, that one said, I'm not going to be doing this back and forth from the baseline. I'm just going to be sticking it away for a winner.
And that's what she needs to do, I think. Like, this is how she has to play.
Do please also give us your thoughts, feelings, any comments you've got about how the match is going in the chat. We're a bit quiet today because we've got a lot of people watching, which is fantastic. But we'd love for you to be able to just write some stuff, answer some questions, really get the chat going would be fantastic. Oh, I think Iga is feeling a bit cold. She's going to put a second layer on.
It's not the most cool conditions there. I looked at the weather report before the match, and it was about 70 Fahrenheit, which means something very different to you in Celsius. 20, maybe?
Oh, yeah, 20. Okay, so it's warm, but not too. But yeah.
As you can see, like, with her outer layer rustling around a little bit, there's definitely a little bit of wind there right now. So
the wind can make it feel colder, which is probably what she's experiencing. And she hits a double fault. Just getting used to serving with the new layer on. Like we said, at the moment, you would feel as though the set would be curtains if she did go a double breakdown. Hi, Sport Politics. It's good to see you here in the chat. I'm normally here. I just don't always write in the chat. No worries. And if you can, whatever you want to, Sport Politics, that's brilliant. You just vote for Swiatek. You think Swiatek's going to get it? You're with Carlson on this one. Goes across court. Good backhand from Ostapenko. Good backhand from Iga. Forehand by Ostapenko. Oh, the ball is moving in the air. Oh, just a little bit too much on it from Penko. It was set up beautifully for the forehand down the line winner, and she just went over the bar. We can see with the Bahrainian flags really picking up some fluttering in the breeze there. Oh, you can really see it. It would be almost the case of whichever player can really hit through these conditions will do the best. You know, I certainly saw, because I watched a little bit of Delray Beach this week, that's been a fairly windy tournament as well.
That has been. I've caught a couple of the matches later in the evening here, and yeah, that's also been quite windy.
You probably know. Oh, and again, just goes slightly long there from Ostapenko. It's like she knows she wants to place it there, but she's just not got the eye in yet.
It was the shot before that one that went a little long. It looks like it landed right on the line. I almost thought that one was going to be out. So she's definitely focused on keeping Swiatek back behind the baseline.
Was that in? No, that was out. There was an attempted backhand winner there from Ostapenko. She obviously was like, just got it and just hit what she wanted.
Do you like seeing her as going this aggressively on Iga's serve, or do you think as the match progresses that she might need to pull back a little bit and just get some of these balls in more?
I think at the moment, given that she's a breakup, she'll feel as though the tactic's working. I think the big thing will be if there are a lot of Iga service games that come up where she is winning like by love to 15 each time, and a lot of these reasons were down to the mistakes of her own racket, at least trying to hit like return winners all the time, she may choose to just dial it back just a tad. But at the moment, in her mind, certainly as we saw in the first couple of service games for Iga, they tended to work quite well for her.
She's holding her own serve fairly easily as well, not dropping points yet. Only 1 point so far, looks like.
No, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Right. So they're back out. We keep on going. It's just been rolling through at the moment. And it's been a bit of a tournament. I don't know if anyone is covering the match later on, but we've got two other players that have really had a great week as well as unseeded players. It seems remarkable to think that for a WTA 1000 event where you've only got 16 seeds, that so many of them have been knocked out so quickly. Swiatek is the only seed left in the competition at the semi-final stage, and with the other two semi-finalists, of course, being Anisimova and Anisimova and Alexandrova. There we go.
There it is. Yeah, they're both of them are very good. Alexandrova on an 8-match winning streak right now after winning wins last week, and I think both of these players are. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, I think we would have assumed that they would get to this stage of 1,000 level tournaments a little more often than they have up to this point, probably. But
and just as what's being pointed out to the left of me, my left, your right. There we go. We have actually got some bits. We've got qualifying preview for the Rio Open, which the qualifying for that starts tomorrow, and then we've got João Fonseca, the teenage sensation, the Brazilian sensation, who's come through a couple of good matches already this week, who is taking on Mariano Navoni, the conqueror of Runa last night. I always do love watching the some of the golden swing. It's almost like a refreshing clay taste in a very hardcore packed calendar.
$30 all here. You could just put one into the net, but an important point in the context of this game coming up.
Yeah, we're at pressure point into the net on the first serve from Ostapenko. This is an opportunity for Swiatek to get back into this. Oh, but she hits the net, and she Ostapenko, brilliant serve, swings it out wide, and all that Swiatek can do is hit the top of the net post with the return.
The kick on that was perfect, coming off of the placement. Just forced Iga to try and reach way out to get that one in. Wasn't able to put it back in play.
Having a look, second serve though to be looked at. Goes into the middle of the box. Backhand from Iga. Forehand by Ostapenko. Backhand by Iga. Backhand by Ostapenko. Forehand by Iga. Up the line by Ostapenko. Forehand by Iga. Cross court by Ostapenko. Cross court by Iga. Perfectly placed from Iga. We are on to juice. We have the Polish fans who are going up in uproar, which is in the stands. That's the first time that almost Swiatek has looked like the main aggressor and in a point. On the tee, backhand by Swiatek, backhand by Ostapenko, forehand by Swiatek, forehand into the net by Ostapenko. Break point for Iga Swiatek.
A chance to get back on serve here. That was not sure what happened on that miss by Ostapenko. Just put it.
Iga just seems to be playing much
more before the net even.
It was as though she was overpowered, which feels like a weird statement to make. Oh, but a great serve there from Ostapenko. Just forces the mistake of Swiatek. We are to juice. You see that obviously it's a bit cold because there's a few people with their hoodies on, hoods up in the stands. It is a part of the world where at this time of year it is very hot during the day, but it does drop like a stone at night.
I wonder if the wind is picking up even a little bit from before the beginning of the match. Ostapenko is struggling with her toss a couple of times there.
Yeah, she has quite a high toss, doesn't she?
Which is not going to help in these conditions, but she's got an advantage now after Iga doesn't get a backhand back across the net.
And there we go. Ace there from Ostapenko. Goes for the ace. Right.
The fourth one of the match.
Oh, and just a score update from Marseille, where another main tour event is taking place. Zizou Berg just taking the first set 7-5 against Xi Jinjiang. The young Belgium is really going from strength to strength. It feels like this season, so that's good to see.
He's doing well. I was impressed with him in the Australia swing at the beginning of the year. Looked well
getting to the final in Auckland was a brilliant bit of work from him.
And then a bit of controversy in the Davis Cup match.
Just a bit of a argy bargy.
Yeah. Not something you would want to see on a tennis court necessarily. Not that it was intentional, but that was a great forehand by Swiatek there. Drawing us to go way outside of the court.
We've sort of almost now got to a neutral stage this match where, okay, Ostapenko is no longer making the God, look at that wind. I mean, it looks as though we're on the seafront in Brighton. Never mind in Qatar.
Quick hold to love.
So we've got Sport You asking questions. So do you think Jelena has Iga spooked? I think she certainly did at the start, certainly getting that early break and looking threatening for potentially a double break as it was in the second Iga service game. But at the moment, I think Iga just now knows where she is in this match, knows where she is against Ostapenko, and is now starting to put the pressure on. How would you assess it?
It does feel like, at the very least, she has gotten it back to neutral in the last 10 minutes or so. She's the aggressor on as many of these points as Ostapenko is at the moment, which it can go either way. really. It's not like she hasn't had stretches of great play in this matchup before. It's about long term for her if Jelena is able to get red hot again. How does she deal with that? So see her sitting on the bench with a towel over her head right now. So
trying to get herself into a zone.
I mean, we all know step one for her is getting the towel over her head. Step two is when that little notebook comes out. And that's when matches typically end with her. So we've got 4-3. Ostapenko back out to serve.
No luck on that one there. Backhand by Iga, forehand by Swiatek, forehand by Iga. Oh, I mean, I think Ostapenko was a bit lucky there. There was a really good serve there or return there by Iga right onto the baseline of Ostapenko. Only just about got it back, and Swiatek, who was in the certainly felt like in the aggressive stage at that point, unable to do anything but hit the ball into the net on the return from Ostapenko. Forehand by Iga, backhand by Ostapenko, sorry. Ooh, did that land in? That out. That was out.
Had to be quite close.
It was one of those classic ones of does Ostapenko trust the line call? Love it.
She's working quite quickly here. Typically serving before the clock even hits 10 seconds left.
She likes play. She likes a quite quick momentum in games, doesn't she, Ostapenko? Goes that wide. Bro, good serve out wide from Ostapenko. Swiatek should have done slightly better though, only hitting the forehand long. Yeah, we're on 29 minutes on the clock and we've had 7 games, so it's been fairly quite a quick process so far. Backhand by Iga, forehand by and out there from Swiatek. Ostapenko, great backhand, great forehand. Cross court, Swiatek just unable to get any real control on it as it goes along again. Forcing the mistakes out the pole is the Latvian. Attempt to go down the tee, just into the net. Goes cross court, forehand by Iga into the net, and that ends up being quite a straightforward service game.
Really well placed serves from Jelena. They're just getting a lot of pressure. So interesting to see Ostapenko switching rackets right now.
Yeah, it's
new balls for another game.
Well, we've just had the new balls, haven't we? Because we've already had 7 games, so we're now 5-3. So that was the first game of the new balls on the previous racket. Maybe she doesn't like maybe she's one of these people that doesn't want to go for a new racket just with the new balls just yet. Just have one change before implementing another. Great backhand from Ostapenko. Where's that going to land? Does land out. I'm sure Ostapenko would love to get the break here, just to really put the pressure back on Iga's service games. There's been a few examples, or at least the last few service games have been quite straightforward for Swiatek.
Well, it has gotten a little more simple for her, and if you could win the set now, obviously that would be simple, and then you start the second set serving.
Oh, brilliant backhand. Brilliant backhand. I thought that was going to go long just because of what we've seen with Ostapenko on these down the line shots in the recent past. But no, perfect placement. Danger zone already, or at least we're getting close to the danger zone.
That was a great setup by her. I think everyone, including Iga, thought that she was going to go cross court with that.
Second serve for Ostapenko to look at. Will she try and rip a winner? She does, goes and rips a winner. Hey, love 40. Ostapenko with 3 set points.
It's an unbelievable return.
Just perfectly placed. No time whatsoever for Swiatek to react to that. In the zone. In the air. Goes cross court. Backhand by Ostapenko. Just doesn't get it. It literally was just that. It was just getting the racket out sort of situation on that ball there. One of the 3 break points has now been gone. Has come and gone. So into the air from Swiatek, all goes into the net. Second serve. And there goes on the tee. Backhand by Ostapenko. Forehand by Iga. Oh, just about goes over the net. Oh, but then the poor backhand from Ostapenko. It was there. It was on her racket, and it doesn't go in. It actually goes in. Well, it does go in. It goes into the net.
Well, that's a tough one.
Oh,
hopefully you're not regretting that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, are we going to get third time to charm, or is she going to feel like, oh, I should have taken that? It was there for me. Swiatek ball near, goes cross court, backhand by Ostapenko, forehand by Swiatek, forehand by Ostapenko, forehand by Swiatek, and it's out. And that is the first set to the Latvian. The head-to-head looks like is currently on course to continue in the way it's going, as Jelena Ostapenko wins the first set 6-3, 2 breaks of serve in 35 minutes. What a first set, from the Latvian. Breaks in the first service game of the other opponent and breaks in the last. It's the perfect sandwich. It's a sandwich set, you could almost call it, on that one there.
It felt relatively simple for her. Her own serve was rarely under pressure. I think she only faced 1 break point in that penultimate service game that she had. And then leads 6-3. What are you pulling out of this one so far after 1 set?
I'm pulling out of that. I think I'm really good at predictions so far. But barring that, I'm pulling out of the moment that we've got a locked in Ostapenko. As you say, the big concern always with Ostapenko is who's going to show up, who are we going to see? Is it going to be somebody who at her peak is arguably can play, best in the world tennis, or is it going to be somebody who's going to have a horror show? And at the moment, she's decided, you know what, I fancy peaking this week. And when I say this week, I mean all the week. And we're just getting somebody who is ripping winners, who is controlling, dictating how these points are being constructed, and is really looking locked in at the moment to make that head-to-head from quite a heavy-handed 4-love to potentially a 5-love head-to-head. I mean, it's very hard to suggest, or it's hard to think that somebody as good as Swiatek, the world number 2, the 4-time Grand Slam, the 4-time Grand. Is it 4 or 5 time? Is it 5 times Grand Slam champion?
4.
4. Is it? Yeah, it's. I've got a feeling it's 21, 23, 24. Yeah. I'm getting confused in my head. Apologies. It is a 4-time Grand Slam champion. Yeah, to be this good, I think it. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. I do apologise there, Carson. Yeah, so basically a multiple-time Grand Slam champion is currently the pigeon of Jelena Ostapenko. It is 5. It is 5. Yeah, I'm trying to count in my head there. It was 5. So the US Open is the one, and it was 4 at Roland Garros. Basically, it's like Nadal. She wins it so much, you forget how many of them she's ended up winning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I tell you that in the first set, Ostapenko is going to win 42% of return points, I think you feel really solid about her chances in that set. That's an incredible percentage, winning 11 of 26.
Yeah, I mean, 42% of, and regardless of who you are, that is an outstanding return stat, or at least coming up to a return point stat. She's just doing some shadow boxing. I'm just curious to know, and I'm going to say it's a little bit of tongue in cheek. What sort of dark arts tactic is Iga going to try and bring out now? We can just see she has gone off. You think, given the fact you've only been on court for 33 minutes, that you don't necessarily need to go off, but she has gone off.
Yeah, I haven't seen a timer yet for how long she still has, but it's got to be around a minute at most, I would think, before she has to be back out.
It's just weird the way that Ostapenko is just literally staring at the standing. So it's certainly what looks like staring at the wall. Oh, there she comes. Out comes Iga. Or at least like loads of towels. As always, as you'd expect around the world, there's a big contingent of Polish support. Bizarrely, one of them's also got a Barcelona flag, which I don't understand the relevance, but we'll rock with it.
And here we go, second set beginning.
Now, potentially that extended break could make Swiatek slightly cold. And it's maybe the opportunity for Iga to maybe try and steal a break. And all she does is go into the tram lines on the first point.
I feel like the break can work both ways for both players. It's always a bit of a guessing game as to who's going to come out on fire after a more extended break like that. But Ostapenko gets the first point.
And the second. 1, 2, 3. Is it going to be 3, 4, 5? Now it sounds like I'm going to start singing a song. Oh, was that was in? That was beautiful from Ostapenko, right on the corner.
Don't think you can place it any better than that.
I don't think you could. I mean, I hope we could get a bit of a replay on the Hawkeye for that. Or the electronic line calling system, as I think we should officially call it. Given the amount of times I saw people during the Aussie Open say, "Oh, this system's rubbish" from Hawkeye, and it was like, it's actually a company called Bolt 6. Hawkeye is a completely separate company, officially referred to it as electronic line calling. Or electronic call, whatever. Yeah, there's a name to it.
Yep. I'm not sure what the current company is actually called. Because like it was Hawkeye for a while. I'm not sure if they still use Hawkeye or if it's a completely different company now.
My understanding is, as somebody who realistically shouldn't be procrastinating when he's meant to be working out what these companies are, and ends up trying to find out who these companies are. Hawkeye are one of the main companies, so they do Wimbledon, which is the big one, and also a lot of the grass court tournaments in the summer. And the other big company that a lot of people use is a company called Foxton, they get used a lot. They're the ones where you usually get a little like slow imagery camera that also comes up in the graphic next to the ball mark. They're a big company, but then other Grand Slams, the Australian Open use a company called Bolt 6 to sort of do their line calling. So there are loads of these different branded companies out there that do this electronic line calling. I think generally the most respected is Hawkeye, just because of the amount of years that it's been running and how robust the software is. But other places do like to use other suppliers as well.
Well, quick hold from Ostapenko to take that first set. Throwing the graphic up right now. Ostapenko had 13 winners.
It's almost the perfect graphic, because you've got Ostapenko with a great grin on her face, and you got Swiatek, who just looks absolutely peed off. So, yep, you picked the right photos on that graphic. Oh, great backhand return from Ostapenko. Is she going to win the point? She does. Jeez. This has been, probably a little bit too superfluous to use the word, but almost like an Ostapenko masterclass at the moment.
I mean, she can't really play much better than this. This is incredible.
Backhand from Ostapenko. Oh, it was just slightly long there. She would have liked a better return on that ball. There wasn't really that much on it from Swiatek. Make sure, as well, as you can see, if you haven't already, please do like this live stream. That'd be fantastic on whatever platform you're watching, and if you can subscribe and follow us on all the different bits, that would be brilliant as well. We're making our way slowly but surely certainly on YouTube to the capacity of the Louis Armstrong Arena at the US Open. Which, just to get anyone's aware, that's around about 14,000. Goes cross court, backhand. Oh, that just nasty but hit on the cord there from Ostapenko. Just took it out of play. She sniffs. She's sniffing. It's 30-all at the moment. She's sniffing an opportunity to try and get an early break in the second. Good backhand by Swiatek. Perfect backhand by Swiatek.
I'd love to see a replay of that. That didn't look like it was too far over the net.
It's very low.
Quite low.
But a second serve here for Penko to have a look at. And it's a double fault from Swiatek. Yikes. You would have thought it looked good there for Swiatek to get a hold. And right now we're back in Danger Town. Yeah, come on, ball again. There's a stray ball on the court. Second serve for Penko to look at. The dangers do mount. Backhand by Iga. Backhand by Ostapenko. Forehand by Iga. Backhand by Ostapenko. Forehand by Iga. Got a bit of a rally. Oh, the luck of the net cord. The luck of the net cord. It dribbles over to give Ostapenko break point.
One of those shots that you apologize for, but you don't feel too sorry that you win that point.
Oh, you will feel smug as hell winning that sort of point. Chance here for Ostapenko to get a break. Was caught backhand by Ostapenko up the line by thingy, and then an attempt down line. She was just on the stretch there.
She wanted that one. Wanted that one a lot.
Oh, lovely backhand. What happened to Swiatek there? It was like the wind pushed her away from the ball.
Almost looked like she just tripped over her feet. We're trying to get back to the center of the court. I don't know if we'll see a replay of her.
It's like when you play table football and you yank your player in the wrong direction just by accident.
Another break chance.
Good backhand by Iga or Ostapenko. Just another good ball from Iga there, stretching Ostapenko. It's a good tactic to go for, really, the stretching of Ostapenko, because then her ability to have any control on the ball goes, and then that's when the mistakes really start to fly.
Feels like that's nearly the only way she's winning points at the moment.
Oh, WATCHALONG to the line. Jeez, that was a pink ball and a half. Just the way that stayed on the line all the way along.
Got a nice picture of a foosball table here on stream.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Brilliant game.
Chance at a second serve.
You feel as though this is is it going to be third time to charm for Ostapenko? Back out or into the net. That was a golden opportunity there, wasted. Okay, ball into the air. Into the net from Iga. Again, you start to feel this service game has actually become quite big, certainly for the context of the early part of this set. If Swiatek's able to hold from here, she'll feel really buoyed and motivated. But similarly, if Ostapenko wins it, you feel as though the train will keep on trucking. The train will keep on rolling.
Beautiful forehand backhand from Ostapenko to win this point.
Especially as he tried to do a backhand win on the previous point and hit the net, to have the courage to go to that shot again.
This game has taken nearly 9 minutes, though.
Yeah, it's been a real grudge. Of the line there, just so it gets to it. Oh, into the net though by Iga, and Ostapenko gets the break. It's from a mistake on the Iga racket, not necessarily the Ostapenko racket.
That's a brutal shot there from Iga.
We can now realistically start to contemplate: is the three-time defending champion on the verge of a semi-final exit?
Certainly beginning to feel like that is the most realistic outcome of this match. Ostapenko's been fantastic so far.
She has, and she now needs to look to try and hold serve here, get herself halfway home. Good serve out wide. I mean, just that serve out wide. I mean, it's going to be etched into the brain of Iga Swiatek tonight. Just her inability to deal much with it. Penko would just get into the net there. Just oh, that was a bit of a double fault there from Ostapenko.
Potentially would have match.
Say that again.
That was her first double fault of the match.
Wow. And it's come midway through the second set. I mean, that's pretty good going for Ostapenko. Not happy with that ball toss. Feels a bit like where Ostapenko is standing at the moment is almost upwind from where the wind is blowing at this stage. So it's kind of pushing the ball along. Break that wide. Down the tee. Beautiful down the tee. Oh, my days. Don't you just love a player that goes for winners? I mean, it just looks excellent. Boom bar on that one there. Vamos from a team. Tries to go cross court. Not getting any first serves in at the moment, though. Slight concern if you're in the Ostapenko camp. Only slight, given how the match is going at the moment. Another double fault on that side of the court again. She's potentially making trouble.
It has to be something more about the wind, though, than anything else. But Scott Barkley says Jelena Ostapenko would be the greatest player of all time if she could face Iga every single match. Honestly, she might be.
She's had the Golden Slam. It will be, truly something. A bit of danger zone here, and yet again, not another first, no first serves in this service game. Oh, that another double fault. That was another double fault. Okay, I know it's getting funny, but she's
out of nowhere, we have a break point for Iga.
Three double faults as well. Iga hasn't had to hit a winner at all. Oh, but then the first serve comes to the rescue. All that Swiatek can do is hit it long.
Almost looked like Swiatek hesitated there if she was hitting that ball, but she thought that one was long as well.
Oh, but then another dodgy service. She's going to really have to think about her service motion. Out wide, goes cross court from Iga. Down the line, though, by Ostapenko. Advantage Ostapenko to go 3-love up.
Yeah, just can't do anything about that at all.
Press down the tee, forehand by Iga into the net, and there we have it. 3-love. 3 more service games for the Latvian. We'll see her into the final. I think it possibly would this be her first ever WTA 1000 final she gets to one? I know she's won the French Open. I don't want to make silly statements, and I probably have made a silly statement.
I mean, she's made the final of this event before.
Was that when it was a 500?
Maybe.
That's my.
before,
that's the only like grey area I've got in my mind right now, which is because a couple of years ago, this event and Dubai used to switch at being 500s. Luxembourg, Eastbourne, Dubai. She won Dubai in 22. I believe Dubai that year was a 500. Titles, finals. Eastbourne, Seoul, Luxembourg, Linz. Oh no! Sorry, scratched that. She has got to the final of Miami. There we go. And she got to the final of Doha in 2016 that year.
I didn't remember the Miami final. Doha, I wasn't sure if that was a 1,000 yet.
That could have been, because that was Doha 2016. I got a feeling it was probably in 1,000 then, that Doha as well. I'm sure somebody in this chat will correct me with these silly statements. Oh, Swiatek's throwing her racket. Bit of anger, bit of frustration. Oh, Holger, bit of an update. Holger Rune has pulled out of Rio de Janeiro.
That's probably a wise decision from him.
Yeah, he said he wasn't feeling great after his match loss yesterday. Still recovering from the illness he picked up when he was in Rotterdam. Well, that's a real shame for Holger. Certainly the same for the tournament organisers. They built the entire golden swing around him, Zverev and Musetti being the big name players coming to play the tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's obviously hope that Holger Rune feels well soon and that he's back on tour healthy at some point. And I think he's also mentioned dealing with a little bit of shoulder issues, but also that's a tough look for the golden swing. I mean, one of the top players, I mean, they're already struggling for some visibility with the way the calendar is set up right now.
And just because it was asked who's taking his place in the main draw, Summit Nagal. Oh, brilliant drop shot. Oh, just to get over. Lands just in. Backhand from Iga. Backhand by Ostapenko. Backhand by Iga. Backhand by Ostapenko. On the line and 3 more break points.
Well, these feel like virtually match points, the way that this has been going.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. This is a problem town. Backhand by Ostapenko, forehand by Iga into the net, and that is a double break. Ooh. What's it sound like? Gary Neville going ooh, but this feels like an ooh situation.
Yeah. This 6 straight games for Ostapenko now.
1 hour on the clock, and she's 2 games away from her first WTA 1000 final in over 5 years. One thing I will mention, whilst I've still got it on the stream just a little bit longer today, just in case of how long it goes here, is I do like the fact that Qatar go for the court colour scheme of the Australian Open. Don't know why it's my favourite hard court colour, and in terms of when it comes to hard court colours, it's one of my favourite designs to have the 2 slightly different types of dark blue on the inner and the outer.
Yeah, I love the blue on blue look. It's really nice look for television.
Very clear. You can see the ball. You can distinguish between the ball and the court incredibly clearly.
Mm-hmm. That's like the thing like I don't love as much about like the U.S. Open. So they have like the blue inner Like the court is blue, and then outside of the court is this more green color. And so sometimes you can, especially in men's matches where people, Daniil Medvedev, are standing like 50 feet behind the baseline, you can like lose the ball after it leaves the court a little bit.
Oh, good forehand from Swiatek there. But no, I agree. I think a part of it almost feels like a bit of a homage to how the courts looked of old when they were all green, and it was like, oh, we'll do a halfway house. We'll just go blue on the inner, and we'll keep the green on the outer. On the line, forehand by Swiatek, forehand by. Oh, we got a bit of a drop in level. Really goes the double break up and almost like takes a foot off the gas here.
I think I agree with Pam Shriver on this tweet on screen right now. It's Penko's always so good in this matchup, and yeah, Iga, it certainly might be something of a mental block as much as actual tennis ability in this matchup.
Oh, and I think that's the first breaker serve that Swiatek's had all match.
It is.
Gets on the board here. Are we going to see a bit of a comeback?
Was that just her second break point of the entire match? I think. Can't remember. Maybe second or third.
She's had a few break points. She had a couple in the first set.
That's right, because in that one game, she had 2 break opportunities, not 1. So finally converts one. Gets one of the breaks back. Still a long ways to go in this one.
Right, let's see how the rest of this tends to go. Wonder if Iga is imitated by Penko's personality more than the game. Maybe. I mean, interesting. We're not seeing any dark arts moves from Iga. I know I keep joking about it. Sort of any little bit of skullduggery to try and put Ostapenko off. But at the moment, although she's still a breakdown, she's not miles away in this set. The key here for her to hold serve. Last 3 service games, she has been broken. She would like to turn that fortune around. Good backhand from Ostapenko, and that ball flies wide. And I think we know how this service game may go.
Yeah, that was just another beautiful shot down the line. She's been hitting the corners all match long. It doesn't look like it's changing now.
It's one thing you always get from Ostapenko is that regardless of how the match is looking or going, she'll still play the exact same way she wants to. Oh, a double fault there from Iga.
I mean, that persistence from Ostapenko, like that's the reason that she can beat the top players in the world like this. It's also why she's not ranked in the top 30 right now. Like it goes both ways. So when she's firing, she can beat anyone, but especially the last few months, it's been more of a struggle. So it's good to see her getting back to some winning ways.
Oh, and into the net, and there we go. 3 more break points. Ostapenko saying that's just a blip. What happened in the last service game? Just a blip in this serene match that I'm trying to play here. Into the net there from Iga, second serve. Suspect, how this is going to go. Good backhand from Ostapenko, backhand by Iga, forehand by Ostapenko. Beautiful forehand by Ostapenko. I've never seen someone make Iga's serve look so straightforward. Like it, not I don't want to say the word weak because I think that I don't think it necessarily looks weak, but it looks vulnerable. Would you not agree? The way Ostapenko has made Iga's serve look vulnerable today.
Yeah, feels like a step back from her recent form. I mean, the serve has been something that she and her new coach, Wim Set, have been working on. So it's not encouraging to see it regress a little bit today. And I mean, this is sideline analysis from where I'm sitting, but there's so many different factors that can go into that. It's the matchup. The wind obviously is playing a bit of a factor today. And then you just have to go serve well on any given day. So it'll be up to her and her coaching team to figure out what that combination is that they need to work on.
Oh, I mean, she's just toying with her now. This is unfair. Goes for the drop shot, leaves Iga, just about gets to it, but she's left stranded at the net, and Ostapenko just has to punt it over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not the greatest drop shot in the world, but it does enough to just pull Iga in, and she can't do anything with that ball. So 2 points away now.
Two points away from the final. Still 2 points away from the final after a brilliant cross-court winner there from Swiatek. She read that ball was going wide. Paolo in chat saying poor Iga losing to I don't know what it is, but we'll go for it. I don't think that Gorilla is that Spanish for gorilla? I think that's a bit unfair to call this Ostapenko a gorilla, but that's a nickname that some people have put towards her. And at the moment, Ostapenko 2 match points. No, not gorilla.
Oh,
thank God. Backhand from Swiatek. Backhand by Ostapenko, just about over. Forehand winner. What a forehand winner from Ostapenko on the stretch. And there we go. We're going to stay a little bit longer, of course, to give a bit of analysis on that match. But there we have it. Jelena Ostapenko with one of the performances of the year from her at the moment. And on the back of performance after performance after performance of the year, basically putting the world number 2, the 5-time Grand Slam champion and the 3-time defending champion at this tournament. Remember, Iga Swiatek had won it in 22, 23, and 24. Put her to the sword for the loss of only 4 games across the entire match, winning 6-3, 6-1 in just over an hour and 10 minutes to be exact. What did you make of that performance? Let's start with Jelena. What did you make of Jelena's performance there, Carlson?
That's the best tennis that she's played in a long time, I feel like. I don't remember the last time I've seen her look that good. Everything was working today. Everything was perfect. The serve was really good. She struggled a little bit more at the far end of the court. It felt like the wind was maybe moving around a little bit more at that end, but so aggressive and everything was working today. Forehand was solid. Backhand was absolutely incredible. that point down the line was working time and time and time and time again. And yeah, she just didn't let Iga Swiatek get into any games. Only got broken once, which against anyone on tour, that is a bit of an accomplishment. So did well protecting her serve and then creating lots of pressure. What did you take away from this one?
I took away that we're in purple patch town for Ostapenko. It's turning into one of those weeks where you would look at it and you go, I can't see anyone else now winning this title based on how well she played. As we know, we've known the head-to-head with Swiatek. It is 4-love. She's one of the rare players on tour that has this dominating head-to-head against Iga and has now turned it to a 5-0 head-to-head. Purely by, as you say, she has no fear, and that is a big factor against Iga. If you have no fear against Iga Swiatek, you're gonna be able to play. She's able to rush Swiatek, which is something you just mentioned there. Really attacking her serve. The amount of winners that Ostapenko went for, and they went in, which is key for Ostapenko, was substantially higher than what her unforced error count will be. And it's just a marvel to behold, to be able to watch tennis like that, to be able to watch somebody prepared to go for the winners and make those winners hit off. As you say, winners off the return, mid-rally, going down the line. I mean, the amount of time she was painting that backhand down the line, constantly going there. I mean, it was absolutely nuts. And as we said there, she has not dropped a set all week, beating really, really tough opponents. Samsonova, Paolini, Jabeur, somebody who is on an absolute, who's on a bit of a tear this year herself in terms of bringing back the form, and then to see off Iga Swiatek for the loss of 4 games. I mean, there are so many positives you could say about Ostapenko's performance. It is utterly brilliant. But then, of course, that leads on to the flip side, which is our fallen champion, the world number 2. How did you think she fared in this match? Where do you think it went potentially wrong for her?
It was, I mean, the return +1 was the key for Ostapenko in this match. She was just getting balls back in, and I mean, Iga couldn't protect her serve. Ostapenko won 56% of return points for the match. That's insanely high percentage. And yeah, if you're not able to protect your serve like that, I mean, you are definitely not going to have a good chance of winning the match. So I mean, it's tough to tell really at this point from Iga how much of this is the matchup that is just a mental side of it, where she's just struggling against this opponent. How much of this is, I mean, I don't know. It's just a strange drop in level today.
No, I think a lot of it, to me, I could see that maybe the court conditions which usually favour Swiatek in terms of them being quite a slow hard court, which allows her ability to play her game, actually was a detriment today because Ostapenko was able really to get a lot more returns in on the Swiatek serve, and then when she starts getting returns in, she can start getting a feel for winners and whatnot. And on a quicker surface where Iga could potentially try and rush Ostapenko a little bit more, that option wasn't really made available to her in a way.
Ostapenko, only active player with a head-to-head lead over Swiatek after multiple matches. And it's not really that close. It's
not close at all. It's 100%. 100%. 5-0 head-to-head against Iga Swiatek. It's just mad to think about that this one player, the player we have known as Iga's kryptonite, is showing again to be Iga's kryptonite. But then, of course, as we know, every time that Penko comes up against Victoria Azarenka, she ends up losing, and currently has a 5-0 losing head-to-head to Victoria Azarenka. So it's just a classic situation as we get another shot of Swiatek throwing her racket. Another situation of head-to-heads really do play a factor in this sport, and it's a head-to-head that, yeah, okay, we just saw that that post from the Tennis and Bagels podcast Instagram, X account, saying that okay, the one thing Swiatek can think about is that she doesn't necessarily have to play Ostapenko every single week or at the back end of every single big tournament, but when she does come up against her, and the big question could be that given that Roland Garros is such a huge tournament in Swiatek's calendar, what if we get us match up in the third round, the fourth round, the quarterfinals of Roland Garros, where Ostapenko is her opponent? Are we going to see, the way things are going, it could be 6-love, and then the main part of her season could come to a bit of a grinding halt potentially.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to know what the future holds in this matchup, and obviously playing on clay as well. That's a little bit of a different story, I would think. Like, that is definitely a little more in Iga's comfort zone than Ostapenko's, so it would help. But if this is more of a mental block, then that won't necessarily matter as much as we think it could. She'll eventually, she is going to win a match in this head-to-head. I don't, if they keep going up against each other another 10 times, Iga's going to win eventually. But there are things about Ostapenko's game that really give her challenges, and she's going to have to figure a few things out in order to win this eventually. But
yes, indeed. So we'll wrap things up there as we gathered. Ostapenko through to the final, going to be playing the winner of the next match. And just to quickly get your quick prediction, who do you think she will play? Will it be Katerina Alexandrova, or will it be Amanda Anisimova?
That's going to be a really exciting matchup to watch. I think a couple of players that love to absolutely smash the ball. I think it's hard to pick against Alexandrova right now. She's just on an absolute tear at the moment. But we know Anisimova, when she is playing at her top level, she's quite difficult to beat as well. So both of them are, I think both of them have a decent chance of winning. I think it's fairly even. The head-to-head in this is 1-1, but I think their odds of winning this match are fairly even. I would maybe lean 60% to 40% for Alexandrova.
You're going Alexandrova. I'm gonna. I can see that view. I can see how you can get to that. For me, I'm gonna go Anisimova. I like her backhand, which always makes me want to back her because I think it's one of the best backhands on tour. So I'm gonna lean that way as my prediction. And also, just to let you know, you'll be able to catch, as you can see tonight, we've got the Rio Open qualifying preview. As Sam Miguel has got promoted, so that will not be a name that they'll be talking about because that player will be in the main draw. We've also got the watch along for Navoni, the conqueror of Holger Rune, against João Fonseca, the Brazilian wonder star. Also, we have an interview with Blair Henley, of course, the MC or the Master Ceremonies commentator, all the key US events and a few of the slams as well. We've got an interview with her coming up, so we've got lots of content. And then you'll see me tomorrow as I'll be on with Hope, I believe also Sack for the final of Doha. So please do tune in for that. Loads of content as we are in frantic February, as I've given it a nickname, with all the different tournaments taking place from all over the world as we roll along to what is the next load of big tournaments, which of course will be the Sunshine Double taking place in March. Do like and subscribe. Thanks everyone, and goodbye.
Thanks everyone.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.